Detty December was supposed to be a victory lap, but the chaos, it just wouldn't die quietly. The beach party was the grand finale. You could see the lights dancing on the black water, hear the music floating through the air like a promise. Everyone was dressed to impress, rich, loud, and completely unafraid. It was classic Lagos, pretending. Like the past few weeks of madness never even happened. Ella arrived alone, not because she was feeling particularly brave, but because she was just done hiding. She wore an outfit that screamed confidence, something intentional. This wasn't some food blogger making an appearance. This was a woman daring the entire city to look her in the eye and see what she was made of. Across the venue, Segun stood deliberately distant. His face was a mask of calm, but his eyes were constantly scanning, counting the exits. It was that classic "you're a Badiman" energy, but the controlled edition. Nearby, Osaze lingered in the shadows, the kind of place where deals are usually born. He was watching everything, owning nothing. In public, and Sharon. Well, Sharon was exactly where she always thrived, on the edges, observing. The reckoning didn't announce itself with a bang. It just slipped in. First, a generator failed. The music stuttered and died. You could feel the security guards shift, a ripple of unease going through the crowd. Then chaos erupted, shouting, people running, the thud of a body hitting the deck. Someone screamed, a single word that cut through the night. Guwan. But Ella didn't panic. She moved fast, her movements focused. She'd learned the rhythm of danger, the dance of survival. Across the chaotic scene, her eyes met Sigun's. There was no desperate dash towards each other. They didn't need to. In that single look, they understood. This wasn't about attraction anymore. This was about making it out alive. Moments later, the night was split open by sirens. Police vehicles and bikes swarmed the beach, their voices cutting through the darkness. The lights from a neighboring compound flickered on, just enough to reveal the truth. Of the night, the scattered movement, the panicked faces. Arrests were made. Confusion reigned. The remnants of the cartel were dragged out into the open like roaches caught in a sudden burst of light. Just before the handcuffs started clicking shut, Osaze vanished. He simply disappeared, and Sharon. She allowed herself one small, knowing smile before melting back into the crowd. As the chaos finally subsided, Ella stood perfectly still. The party was over. December had been judged, but it wasn't finished talking just yet. Her phone vibrated in her hand. A single, chilling message popped up on the screen. You survived the noise. Now meet the silence. January arrived with teeth, cold and sharp, but Ella opened her brand new food stall anyway. It was small but intentional. Located right near the road, it was a strategic move. The smell of steaming jollof rice and rich, unapologetic goat meat filled the air. There were no pop-ups, no social media hype. This was just food that spoke the plain, delicious truth. And people came, not influencers or clout chasers, real people. One evening, Segun showed up. Late, there was no grand entrance, no lengthy explanations, just his presence. They sat and ate together in silence, a comfortable quiet between them. But across the street, a black SUV was idling, and it had been there for far too long. Ella noticed, Segun noticed too, but neither of them reacted. The city was always watching. That night, trouble returned. It wasn't loud and chaotic like the beach party. This was precise. A fight broke out near by a clear distraction. Then a shout from the back of her stall. Ella turned and saw it, a wooden crate, and it wasn't filled with food. It was packed with phones, passports, and stacks of fresh cash. Someone had planted it. The sound of police sirens grew closer, a familiar, dreaded sound. Segun grabbed Ella's hand, pulling her forward. But this time, her hand slipped from his grasp. The evening crowd surged between them. Tables were overturned. Someone fell right into the food stall, and the jollof rice spilled onto the ground like a sacrifice. Suddenly, a group of garage boys rushed in, ready to grab what they could from the chaos. But they froze when they saw Segun. Instead of causing more trouble, they hailed him, their voices ringing out with respect. Noini Gebo Ara. I Ogun. The man who is war itself. And then, as if from nowhere, Osaze appeared. He grabbed Ella, pulling her sideways into the safety of an alley. Open your eyes, he said calmly, his voice steady amidst the mayhem. You think Segun is the only one who knows how this city works? That single question, that seed of doubt, landed hard. The police swarmed the area. Arrests were made. Questions were fired off, fast and aggressive. Segun was taken in for questioning, held. Ella went home alone. The Dautoses planted now taking root. Days passed. The silence was deafening. Then the truth finally surfaced. The crate wasn't Segun's setup. It was Sharon's. She wanted Della visible, exposed. She wanted to make her famous, but for all the wrong reasons. When Ella and Segun confronted her, Sharon just laughed, a soft, bitter sound. I told you, Shegs, she said, looking straight at him. You can't have it all, not the business, and not her. Ella reopened her stall. This time it was bigger, legit. But she was still being watched. Only now she was also protected. Segun showed up again. No drama, no excuses, just the truth. He didn't promise her forever. In a city like this, forever was a lie. Instead, they promised each other honesty. As the night closed in, a final message arrived on Ella's phone. It wasn't a threat this time. It was an invitation. A new city is watching. Different rules, same hunger. Are you ready? Ella looked at the message, a slow smile spreading across her face. The fire had passed, the smoke had cleared, but something else, something new had just begun. Thank you so much for watching our series finale. It's been an incredible journey, and we couldn't have done it without you. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss what we've got cooking up next. Thanks again, and see you soon.